will discuss on the pedagogy of school subject, physical science, within which I am focusing on to the method of teaching physical science. Now, a science teacher has a variety of methods and techniques available for use in our classroom. The selection of a suitable method is based on the objectives of the lesson, needs of the learner, and the nature of the content. So, first, the method that the science teacher will invoke, especially the physical science teacher, in the method of teaching should be a scientific method. The reader is made aware of the key points involved in inductive, deductive, and inducto-deducto methods. There are different methods that we can use at the time of teaching physical science. The methods are maybe the lecture method, demonstration method, laboratory-based method, heuristic method, project method, assignment-oriented method, historical method. Now, first, at present, we are focusing onto the conventional method that we are using in teaching physical science. The conventional methods are the lecture method and the demonstration method. So let's discuss about the lecture method. The lecture method includes the merits of the lecture as well as some part of demonstration which can be incorporated in the process of lecturing. It attempts to filter out the disadvantages of both. The teacher performs the experiment in the class with the active participation of the students. Thus, the students observe the experiment, help in taking down readings, as well as assist in setting up the apparatus. The teacher helps the students draw inferences. This method serves the two purposes. Number one, to provide means of making certain parts of subject matter clear by objectifying it. Second, to be as economical, both time-wise and finance-wise, as possible. When science was first introduced in the curriculum, a number of demonstrations were also included to arouse the interest of the students. Thus, the lecture cum demonstration, which we are formally called as a conventional lecture method, was extensively used at that time. However, now the stress is on learning skills. So, individual laboratory work is recommended at present whenever it is feasible. So, initially, this method that was introduced at the very older days, that was directly the lecture delivered by the teacher. Students are hearing up the lectures, try to memorize, or if it is needed, try to copy the points onto their copies. Later on, this system, that means a part of demonstrations, that is activity by the teacher showing up the different experiments in the classroom, that was also added with lecture, and the lecture method becomes lecture cum demonstration method. That I have told to you. This lecture demonstration method can prove to be one of the best method if. The important thing is if the demonstrations are well planned by a skillful teacher. So this demonstration which are punched or incorporated in the method of lecture must be well planned. What is to be done, how it is to be done, how the students can be involved in the method of demonstration. If it is priorly planned, and accordingly the teacher can provide the lecture along with this demonstration, then it will be very much effective and beneficial for the student in understanding and in generating their learning skills. So this lecture, conventional or older lecture method, or presently the lecture cum demonstration method, is very much effective for the students in effective learning of the physical science subject. Next we come on to the another conventional method, that is demonstration method. This is purely demonstration method. That is, lecture will be there just to give some additional information in the different phases of the demonstration. But the teacher's methodology will be totally involved in demonstrating the experiments in the classroom session with the help of the students, and by the method of demonstrating the experiment, teacher will trying to teach the contained matter of the specific topics in physical science in secondary level or in higher secondary level. So that if we are focusing on to the demonstration method, so a demonstration is a technique designed to show or illustrate a procedure, process, or phenomenon. Demonstrations are concrete experiences that can be used for structuring future information for students. When used with discrimination, science demonstration are effective and provide excellent set induction for science lessons, and of course specifically the physical science lesson. Now, what is the purpose of demonstration? Demonstration methods may be used in science teaching in a number of ways, and of course they are suitable for the following purposes. So just I can bring down the purposes where we can use a demonstration. Number one, demonstration purposes at the start of a lesson or unit. There are many science demonstrations which, when presented for the first time to a group of students, will stimulate their interest and curiosity. For instance, science teachers could demonstrate color changes by phenolphthalein to introduce students to acid-base reaction. Students need to learn how to use and operate science equipment as well as procedures to take accurate reading. A teacher could demonstrate how to focus a microscope, how to take readings, the least count, the vernier reading, coincidence, and so on. Second, applying a concept. The application of concept in daily life can be well understood if it is demonstrated. Example, effect of water, air, and sunlight on germination. The teacher should state exactly what it is that students should realize and demonstrate the application of the concept, principle, or law. Next purpose, solving problems. Demonstration could help study and solve problems. Can cite the example as effect of heat on different kinds of metals. Now, such questions can be best answered by a demonstration. This situation required a certain amount of versatility on the part of teacher. Next purpose, reviewing ideas. Demonstrations can be used as a review technique while culminating a unit. They can be used to reinforce important ideas that were dealt with in class and help to summarize key points. A teacher can set up an experiment and ask review questions as the experiment is in progress. Students will be able to clear up the doubts which might have risen at this stage. So these are the purposes for which the teacher can use the demonstration method as his main method of teaching in teaching science, or specifically the physical science. But to do it in the classroom, teacher must have a planning for a demonstration. If teacher is not well prepared, if teacher is not having the proper planning, then it becomes very much difficult for the teacher to execute the demonstration method in the classroom. So let's discuss about the planning a demonstration, how the teacher can plan to teach the demonstration method in the classroom. Now, an effective demonstration requires methodical planning by the teacher. The important points to be noted are, number one, the need and relevance of the demonstration. Because the demonstration should suit the age level of the students. In all type of age level, the same maturity is not there for the students. So the demonstrations, the instruments that are used, that have to be set in such a way so that it can satisfy the level of intelligence and aptitudes of the students. Number two, the objectives of demonstrations. That means which topic the teacher is going to teach in the demonstration method. Is there really a purposive visions of that topics where the teacher can show the demonstration? That should be fixed, identified, and planned. Number three, the mastery of subject matter. The teacher should have the mastery in his subject, as well as should be well experienced. Then only he can plan out the demonstration methods properly for the specific topics he or she is going to teach in the class through the demonstration method. Number four, lesson notes including a list of principles to be explained and the questions to be asked in the class. Number five, thorough rehearsal of experiments must be there before the class to the teacher himself. Because at the very first time, it is not possible for the teacher to do the experiments in the class, and doing the experiment is going to teach. So before that, in the planning phase, teacher should have a thorough rehearsal of the experiment that he or she is going to perform in the class in the method of demonstration. Number six, proper arrangement of apparatus on the demonstration table. Proper setup and apparatus arrangement of the apparatus must be there on the demonstrations table. So whenever the experimental setup is made, in the process of demonstrations in the classroom, then if it is some particular experimental units or the tools are not found, then it becomes very difficult to set up, complete the experiment and to demonstrate it in front of the students, just to make them understand about the subject. So proper arrangement of the apparatus must be there on the demonstrations table. So these are the 6 major points that has to be kept in mind of the teacher at the time of planning a demonstration method, which is necessary to be executed in the class in front of the students. Now we have gone through the what is demonstrations method, how we can do the demonstrations method, and what should be the planning for a teacher to for the demonstration method that is to be done in the class. Now we have to know exactly what are the criteria for a good demonstration. That means what exactly the key points or the focal points are there in the method of demonstration that the teacher is going to present in the class. So let me discuss the different criteria for a good demonstration. A successful demonstration may have certain criteria which should be there in the method of demonstration that the teacher is going to follow in the class in front of the students. Number 1 criteria, that is visibility. The demonstration should be visible to all. All means all students, and the setup should be at a good height so that each and every part of the experimental setup should be clearly visible to all the students sitting in different corners of the classroom. Students should be seated either in gallery type classroom or be allowed to come near so that the different units of the experimental setup can be clearly visible to them. And the process of doing experiment, taking up the reading, noting down the reading, doing the error corrections, everything are clearly visible, and notability should be there for the student. So they should place either in gallery type classroom, where from different hooks and nooks of the classroom can be easily visible, or they are placed very near to the experimental setup that the teacher is made on the table. Number 2, the apparatus used for demonstration should be larger in size. Number 3, a blackboard behind the demonstration table will facilitate summarizing the related principles and key concepts. That means only teacher is performing the experiment and showing up the students different phases of experiment is not enough. In each and every step, there are certain precautionary measures are there. There are certain things that is necessary to be done. So it should be written by the teacher during the process of experiments onto the blackboard, so that student can come to know exactly what is done with the particular unit of experiments, how the different units of the experimental setups are correlated, how the readings are observed, and how they are marked. So a blackboard behind the demonstration table should be there, and that will facilitate summarizing the related principles and key concepts. Number 4, the lighting and ventilation should be adequate, and allowances must be made for glare. Number 5, rehearsal is necessary prior to a demonstration so that teacher becomes well versed in handling the apparatus. Number 6, the pace of the demonstration should be accurate, neither too fast nor too slow. This helps students to follow the demonstration carefully. Number 7, apparatus should be arranged in proper order so that the teacher does not flounder. For instance, a right-handed teacher may prefer to keep the used apparatus on the right-hand side so that those uh, instruments can be easily handled. Number 8, the teacher should make allowances for seasonal variations, power cuts, etc. while planning his or her experiments. Because at the meantime, if due to the power cuts or due to the several seasonal variation, experiment is obstructed, then the flow of experiments will not be there and student will not understand exactly the first part and the next part of the experiments. So proper allowances arrangement should be there to minimize the seasonal variations or power cut problems, and that should be there when the teacher is planning the experiments. 9, for recording the data, the student should be given sufficient time. Number 10, the teacher should enliven his or her demonstration by asking suitable reflective type questions, because the process of demonstrations the teacher is using at the method of teaching must be encompassed with the assessment. That means if after completing out the experiment, teacher is going to ask the student exactly what they have learned, what they have found by the experiment, then it becomes difficult for the teacher to understand whether the student have really understood the process of experimentations or not. So at each and every stage, when the part of the experiment is done, the teacher should interact with the student with suitable reflective type questions, get to know exactly their understanding or their progressions in that particular part of the experiments. Number 11, emphasis should be given to the major points in the demonstration so that students are aware of the objectives of the demonstration. So these are basically the criteria for a good demonstration, and all those criteria must be there in the method of teaching demonstration method by the teacher in the classroom. Now we come on to the next issue. What is the advantage of using the demonstration method of teaching in teaching physical science content or topics in the classroom? Demonstration method has several advantages that makes it very useful in teaching physical science. What are those advantages? We can say number 1, demonstration allow the teacher to guide thinking and channelize learning in desired direction. Number 2, this method is especially useful when the apparatus is expensive, the experiment involves some risk, the experiments involve some difficult and complex operation. Several experiments have to be performed sequentially. These are the situations where this demonstration method is specially used and effectively used. Number 3, demonstration help in economizing resources. Some equipment or items are too expensive for general use. Say for example, chemicals, mercury nitrate, silver nitrate. For instance, due to high cost factor, many high school physics laboratories may have only one spectrometer. Thus, demonstrating the experiment to the whole class becomes an economical exercise, because since we are not getting uh, several number of spectrometers, so we cannot allow multiple students to do experiments simultaneously. So instead of doing this, if using one spectrometer, teacher is demonstrating the experiments in the class. So all the students get the experience of experimenting something and also learn the content very easily. So demonstration method becomes an economical exercise for those experiments where the instruments are too costly and are not available in enough number in the school for allowing the experimentation by individual students. Number 4, demonstration enable the teacher to conduct activities that may be too dangerous for students to carry out themselves, like some chemical reactions in the laboratory produce toxic fumes. High voltage apparatus may be needed in some experiments. Under such circumstances, it would be wiser for the teacher to use demonstration technique instead of allowing the student in experimentation procedure in the laboratory. So in brief, what we have discussed the different teaching methods that the physical science teacher can use in the classroom. Within this teaching method, we have focused the conventional teaching method. First, we have discussed the lecture and lecture cum demonstration method. We have discussed its process, its certain advantages. And second, we have discussed the demonstration method, the type, the methodology that is used in the demonstration methods, the planning necessary for the demonstration method, and finally, the advantages that can be procured by using demonstration methods in the classroom session. So thank you very much